I'm going to be talking today about how to do a response. I'm going to do some quoting and some work with that. I'm going to be using To the Continent, which is on page 102. It's the poem we talked about in class. And I've opened up this slide so we can talk about this. And what I've done, I'm going to just use this stanza down here at the bottom. I went ahead and typed this in so it was easier for me to just grab it from there. Excuse me, make some copies and work with it there. Okay, so I'm going to move it up here. I already have a kind of an idea of what I'd like to say. So I'm just going to start off and say, George, I'm going to say Bridge Towers, childhood was filled with music. Okay, I can already tell I'm probably going to want to go back and redo that word filled. I don't really like that. I can probably think of a better word than that. Okay. But I'm going to just type this out, and then maybe I'll do a little adjustment later and show you what I would do with that. Okay, so the first part I want to do is this, I was content to fit the notes to the joy I felt. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put it up here and mess around with it. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. That happened the other time that I was working around with this. Okay, double click, that's the key. Okay, and I know that I'm going to have to add a page, a little slash there because there's a line break there, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. And I know that I told you that one of the things you should do is be integrating quotes and getting rid of I and kind of integrating it into your own words. I think I'm going to leave this one as it is and say that he says, I was content to fit the notes to the joy I felt. Now, I have this joy here, and I'm going to add this up here. So I can put happy childhood. And let's see, instead of filled, maybe I want to put consumed. Still not completely happy with that. This would be a situation where I would probably go in and maybe look at a thesaurus and choose a word that I feel like consumed is a little too strong and maybe has some negative connotations with it. And so I'm going to leave that the way that it is, okay? And now I'm going to use this stuff down below here, the chords unfurled in shimmering ribbons. And you'll notice here that this is in the past tense. So what I want to do when I integrate this, I want to make sure I'm writing in the past tense. And so I got to work with that. Okay, so this is a situation where I'm not just going to grab this quote because I grabbed a lot here. I want to break this up a little bit. I'm going to say his music, let's see, was... I don't like made up of, but I'm going to just go with that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to quote this whole thing, and then I'm going to kind of break it up here a little bit. And then change that. Let's see. I'm good. Let's see. Now here's a good example of what I'm talking about. So it says his music was made up of chords unfurled, shimmering ribbons. Now I can't leave that way, so it's going to be... it's not going to be a complete sentence unless I add some words. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do chords unfurled into shimmering ribbons and do that. Okay? Here's something else I'm going to try. I'm going to get rid of all of this and start over. His music was and I'm going to use chrysalis, if I can spell it correctly, made up of. I wish I could think of a better word for that. Should have done this before I recorded this, and then you would have had something there. Let's see. How about this? Unfurled into if I could spell this word here. Okay. Oops. Opened up my dictionary. Sorry about that. Okay. There we go. Okay. Being a little pokey here. It's probably because I'm recording. Okay. His music was a chrysalis which unfurled into shimmering ribbons. Okay. Now one thing, I don't necessarily like how broken up this is. So if there's a way that I can figure out how to do that, maybe I'll take a look here and say, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Yeah. So what about this? I bet I can get away with this. We'll do that. Okay. His music was a chrysalis which unfurled shimmering ribbons. Okay, I like that. I'm going to leave that the way that it is. I think that works. Okay. Let's see. So I don't have that word twirled in there. So maybe I can find a way to add that in here. Let's see. Well, I'm just going to leave that. I don't have to necessarily include anything. Maybe when I get done with this, I can find a way to put it in there. Okay. His music was a chrysalis which unfurled shimmering ribbons. How about this? Which he twirled himself into. Okay. So now I want to explain what that is all about. So I do not want to start off with this shows. Okay. If we could eliminate that from our writing, that would be great. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get rid of that, and I say I'm going to just say George's music. Let's see. Let's see. Provided him with a. Words aren't coming today. I apologize here. George's music provided with him. Let's see. Think. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to pause this and gather my thoughts. I'll be right back. Okay, I think what I decided to do was I needed to just add this and fill this out as a paragraph. So I'm going to move on to the next one. But I am going to say, thus, George's childhood was filled with the joy of creating music. And I'm going to say his talents allowed him to fully to fully express the jubilation he felt in childhood. Okay, so this is a little repetitive. Let me just see here. Bridgetower's happy childhood was consumed with music. He says, "Oh, I have an idea. As a child prodigy, much in demand for performances amongst the upper class, Bridgetower's happy childhood was consumed with music." Okay, and then he says, "I was content to fit the noise with the joy I felt." Okay. Okay, his music was a chrysalis which unfurled shimmering ribbons he twirled himself into. This George's, let's see, I'm going to say this. I'm going to get rid of this because I've already kind of said this. Created a happy, safe space for him to develop as a child, and bring in the chrysalis a little bit. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next one. As he grew older, music fell by the wayside, and he became consumed with thoughts of love. Similar to the music of his childhood, his desire for love was all consuming. Okay, and now I'm going to start quoting. He wanted full sheets of it. Did I do? Nope. Okay. wrap, let's see, keep it at that, and to wrap himself in to keep warm for sleeping. Okay, that'll be pretty good. Okay, I think that's good enough. So I would just continue on with this line of thinking and do that. Now, also, I'm not real happy with this, and it could be here, it's 1:30, and I'm trying to record this, and I can probably make this better. Sometimes the words come, sometimes they don't. I tend to be a morning writer more than an afternoon writer, but that's how it goes. So I think it's pretty good. I'd probably go in and do a little bit of adjustment, but that would be something that I would do, leave it alone for a little bit, come back in and see if I could make some adjustments, all right? So that's it. Hope that video was helpful in terms of how to construct a response.